Stay close to me, child. We have little time. Spring has sprungeth, the days grow longer. There is only so much time left until... Sorry, what? Who are you?
Tis LARP season.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Over the past few years, live-action role-playing, aka LARP, has been booming globally. Nerds from across the world have been partaking in the liberating experience of becoming a fictional character for the weekend. And whilst there's a load of different games in a variety of genres, I like to think that we all share the same struggles, especially if you're new or looking to start LARP for the first time. So whether you fall into that category, or maybe you're just wanting to make LARP a more comfortable experience, join me on today's survival guide so that you can hopefully make your experience at LARP just a little bit more comfortable. Unless it, rains or snows or storms, in which case you're going to be fine. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rianne. I post a lot of content to do with LARP or video game development, and yeah, I've been wanting to do this video for a very long time. I've had it written for a while now, and it seemed like now is a good time because LARP season is beginning here in the UK in April. We're kind of going past all the crappier months, but that being said, there are still a lot of boundaries, I think, beyond the actual games themselves that really make people hesitant to start LARP, because a lot of it is around camping or the sort of logistics of enjoying that experience despite weather and temperature and all the rest of it. So today we're going to go through a lot of different categories where I'm going to discuss things that I personally have found have made the experience far easier and more comfortable, so that you can just put aside all of the extra bits and pieces and focus on the actual game and make it as much fun as humanly possible despite everything else. So, let's get to it. Being too hot or too cold can unfortunately sideline your event, especially when it comes to camping and being outside for prolonged periods of time. So you really want to make sure that you are equipped to be comfortable throughout any sort of temperature. Thermals, I cannot stress enough, especially if you're going to an event that is camping, thermals are an absolute must-have. Even in the summer, you need to have thermals to sleep in because the temperature drops so significantly, especially when we're talking here in the UK. When you hit that sort of peak at about 3 to 5 a.m. in the morning and everything gets really, really cold, you're gonna want to have thermals underneath your pajamas. So I recommend at least 2 packs of thermals, like full body thermals, especially leggings, because they're really easy to put on underneath costumes. You can also get specific thermals, so I've also got arm thermals that just cover the arm, so it doesn't interfere with any dress that I have on the field. So I would recommend at least looking at 2 pairs, one for the day, one for the night, and perhaps some extras if you have a specific kind of kit and maybe the full body or the 2-piece thermals don't quite fit with your kit, with your costume. Hot water bottles. Now this one's a little bit tricky because to have a hot water bottle you need to have some functioning form of boiling water, and that's where boiling points come in really handy as well. I don't necessarily think that hot water bottles and boiling points are necessary to be comfortable in your LARPing experience. However, if it is something that you would like to invest in because you're going to continue LARPing, it is definitely a piece of kit that will see you through a lot of different situations, whether it's cups of teas and hot water bottles. Just having boiling water nearby is a really, really smart idea. If not, and if you would still like to bring a hot water bottle, because trust me, it makes such a difference having a hot water bottle inside your sleeping bag before you go to sleep. Instantly makes you much, much warmer. You can sleep a lot better. Then perhaps reach out to other people in and around your LARP community to see if they have access to boiling water that you could perhaps borrow, but don't just assume you have some on hand. Always ask and see what's available before you get to the site. Hand warmers. There's a lot of stuff in this video that I have mentioned in my previous Hots and Knots. If you have not seen that, that's totally fair because it's very Empire specific, which is a LARP event here in the UK. But one thing that I always recommend is hand warmers. I have electric hand warmers. They come in a pack of 2. They're rechargeable, which make it really easy to just plug in and recharge after, before, and during events if you have that option. I think any type of hand warmers are really, no pun intended, handy. You can easily slip them into your bag as you're walking around the field. You can put them under your pillow to keep warm in the evenings. It's just a nice option to have, again, no pun intended, on hand if you need just a quick pick-me-up to keep your fingers or hands warm outside. I know we've spoken about thermals, but I'm going to add on top of that layers. Think about the layers of your kit. Is your kit quite light? Do you need to perhaps think about other things to add onto your kit to keep it warm? Or is your kit metal? Are you wearing chainmail because you're very sadistic and you're going to go into a very hot climate? Think about what you're wearing and consider the layers, and consider also layers that you can take off and on again quite quickly if temperature changes and as and when it's needed. I went to my first LARP event years ago and it was a heat wave, and unfortunately there were a lot of people with heat stroke because they were still wearing all of their kit, all of the layers and the armour, and running around, and they were not hydrated enough. So it's very easy to be in that position. So just take account as to what the weather's going to be before you leave and the temperature's going to be, and make sure you're thinking about your layers. And lastly, when we're talking about hot and cold, fans. Oh yes. I have used this fan far too many times. Hand fans are especially great because they're very easy, versatile, especially for different kind of genres as well. If you're looking at something a bit more modern or sci-fi futuristic, then perhaps you'll get away with something a little bit more modern or electric, so electric hand fans, electric neck fans, the rest of it. But when it comes to medieval or anything steampunk perhaps, hand fans are a big lifesaver. Not only can they actually fan you, but you can also kind of sit, I've done this many times, I've got so many photos of me at Empire just doing this, where you're blocking the sun from hitting your face. If you've LARPed before, you've probably been stuck in some terrible weather conditions. The worst is usually wet, windy, and muddy. Not only is this uncomfortable, but it can make things pretty grubby pretty quickly. So let's start with shoes, okay? Very, very important, because if your shoes are like falling apart, if they get completely soaked, then, no pun intended, you're pretty stuck in the mud. Please choose substance over style if possible. Having decent shoes to go walking around for hours over the weekend potentially, or being stuck in difficult weather conditions will help massively. You want to be comfortable in your shoes, or else you're kind of buggered. I would personally recommend something more sensible over something that is more pretty. I know that there are a lot of shoes that can go with your genre of kit, but if you do go with something that's more pretty, please make sure it is functional and will not leave you just sat in a tent for the entire weekend waiting for your shoes to dry out or waiting for someone to sellotape them back together again. On that note, socks. Invest in good socks, and also make sure you bring enough pairs just in case any get wet or ruined. So I personally like supportive socks, so things like Under Armour socks, because not only are they very thick and comfortable to wear for long periods of time, but they also have those specific points where they support the feet as well. So that's something to consider. Not a must-have, but definitely makes life a lot more easier if you're on your feet all weekend. In general, thinking about a waterproof layer. Now, if you're at a LARP event which is outside and there's a chance it could rain, definitely think about your waterproof layer to go on top of your kit. For me, it's a nice cape, but depending on the genre, it might be something else. More modern genres might get away with sort of more modern materials, but if you're looking at something a bit more period, think about wool as a material, because wool is naturally waterproof. Otherwise, consider different waterproofing options for the kit that you've got. Also consider umbrellas. Umbrellas are a little bit hit and miss. Again, completely depends on the genre and the style of LARP that you're going to. But have a little research, because there are more and more styles to pick from. You could do parasols, you could do something a little bit more funky and quirky. If you do something that's a little bit more I don't know, steampunk again, then you might have some, you know, the cool ones that go off in a little whoop. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but the people who do, I think, so that's fine. Let's also talk about a change of clothes, because again, it's not the easiest, especially if you are tight on budget or you are packing light, then maybe you don't want to bring multiple different pieces of kit. However, I do recommend bringing some basic things just in case anything gets completely sodden or dirty and you can't wear it again. Things like a change of shirt, extra leggings to put on underneath your kit if you need to, just in case. It doesn't have to be a lot, it doesn't have to be expensive, it just needs to be something to wear just in case maybe you have to wait for something to dry out, maybe you just need something fresh to put on because you need to have a lay down in your tent for a little bit and you don't want to get in your pajamas. It just helps sometimes. Now we're getting into the cleanliness portion of this video, and we're going to start with towels. I recommend taking at least 2 towels, because look, the shower block situation in any sort of shared space, it's not the most glamorous, okay? Especially on a camping site. Mud gets tracked in, hair gets stuck places, they do get grubby. Even if everybody tries to keep it all clean, things get spilt, things accidentally get brought in, whatever. So I like to bring 2 towels, one for like face and body and hair, and the second one is for my feet specifically, because let me tell you, if you're dragging in mud accidentally into these shower blocks and you accidentally stand in something and you've got like dirty sweaty feet, the last thing you want to do is use the same towel for your feet as you do your face. I accidentally dropped one of my towels one year and it was soaked and I couldn't dry off using it, so I just kind of had to air dry most of my body because I refused to use my foot towel on the rest of my body. I just have personal preferences, okay? Also on that note, sandals. Bringing a pair of sandals to shower in has been a massive life changer for me. Again, just a personal preference. I don't like standing on the bare floors with my bare feet. I'd rather have sandals that I can just wash my feet in, so then I'm, again, not sort of stepping in things or accidentally dragging things in and around. So yeah, if you're like me and you don't like the thought of standing in shared shower spaces or in like camping showers, get yourself a cheap pair of sandals to wash in. Dead easy. Let's talk about toiletry bag. Please, for the love of God, please bring toiletries with you. At minimum, bring something to wash your body and face with, and bring a toothbrush and a toothpaste. Everything else is optional, but at least bring that, because you should definitely wash throughout a weekend, especially if you're camping. Obviously, you can bring things like deodorant, which is also recommended, shampoos and conditioners, skincare. I bring my microfiber cloth with me as well to remove my makeup because I wear a lot of face paint. Also, definitely recommend checking out your miniatures section. You know, when you go on holiday and you pop into a Boots or a Superdrug and there's the little mini versions of things, go have a look in there, because it's far easier to just carry those around with you rather than lugging everything, not only from home to the LARP event, but also in between where you're staying and the shared shower space. So miniatures, definitely recommend those. Lastly, as a last resort, bring a pack of wet wipes. I know they're not the most eco-friendly, and I'm not saying you should definitely use them over bringing your own toiletries, but in a pinch, a wet wipe can save a life. Listen, if I don't get at least 6 hours sleep, my day is not going to be great, okay? And if you're like me and you prefer sleeping in the elements and you camp for LARP, then that can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. So let's talk about the best ways to get some good rest in between your LARPing days. And no, I'm not going to suggest drinking copious amounts of mead, although I will say it has been very effective on occasion. Tents. Let's talk about tents, the foundation of safety, comfort, and sleep. Now, if you are going to buy your own tent, please, please, please do your research beforehand, whether that is a bog standard tent if you're camping out of character, or whether you're looking at investing in something that's a little bit more in character, like a canvas tent, for instance. Please also practice putting it up at home if you can before the event, so you know what to do and how to erect your tent. Sorry, I just know there's going to be so many people laughing at that. And if you're like me and you don't own a tent, and the last time you owned a tent it went very badly, look at rental options. I have recommended rentals since I pretty much started LARP, to be honest. Maybe the 4th event I've been to, I started renting tents. Life changer. Especially if there's a group of you, you can split the costs. They're usually put up before you get there. You don't have to worry about taking them down. They are a little bit more expensive, but if you are packing light or if you're in a group and can easily split the cost, then I definitely recommend checking out a rental company. My preference is Rent Bell Tents here in the UK. Shout out to Rent Bell Tents. Not sponsored by them, still mention them every time because they are that good. So yeah, consider that as an option. Sleeping bags and camping beds. Now, if you are camping, please do consider the type of sleeping bag, or if you're using a sleeping bed, or the mats you're putting underneath the sleeping bag, because that will definitely help you regulate your temperature during the evening. Check the tog of the sleeping bag to make sure it's adequate for yourself and the climate and season that you're currently in. I usually have an all-rounder and then bring extras on top of that. Speaking of which, let's also talk about pillows and blankets. They go with sleeping bags very, very well, if you haven't guessed. I bring my own pillow with me as well, just because I sleep better that way. It's soft, you can pack it up. There's also lots of blankets that I bring too, so I can help regulate my temperature. They're all bulky items, but they're light and soft items, so if you don't mind packing them away or carrying them if you're doing public transport, then that can very much help your sleep in the evening, make you have a better day when you actually do eventually get up. I am very sensitive when it comes to sleeping, so I always need my sleeping mask, and I know a fair few people also like to use earplugs. Now, when you're in nature, the sun comes up whenever it wants to, the birds and the animals start chatting at whatever ridiculous o'clock in the morning. You are gonna have a better quality of sleep if you're sensitive like me, if you get a sleeping mask and maybe some earplugs. Doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be fancy, but to help block out light and to block out noise, 2 things to consider to help you sleep. Also consider adding rugs or mats to your tent. This again helps not only insulate your tent, but it also helps you knock off the dirt from your boots when you walk in. The tent company that I use to rent already puts a mat, like a doormat, in the tent so we can wipe our boots when we come in. But if you can and you have space and you have them available, then laying down some extra mats and rugs can really help kind of reduce not only the mess, but also insulate your sleeping space and make it more comfortable for you. In the hotter climates, you might consider a battery-powered fan. Now, if you have access to electricity, you might not need to have a battery-powered one, but having some form of indoor cooling can also really help, especially if you sleep warm and you're going through the warmer months. Then coming back into a very, very, very hot tent that's been sitting in the sun all day, you can struggle to sleep. So having an option to kind of cool the tent down a little bit faster can help you get to sleep faster and improve your night's rest. Lastly, get some bug repellent. Get some bug repellent. Again, if you are camping outdoors, please invest in some bug repellent, because let me tell you, the amount of wasps, I mean, if you've seen my last video, you've heard about the wasps. Spiders, ants, little flying creatures, beetles, we've had them all in the tent. We've had them all. We do have to use bug repellent to try our best to get rid of them. Sometimes we get the little solid blocks to put in our tent as a natural repellent. Sometimes we also bring spray to try and reduce like wasps specifically and spiders specifically. Because yeah, it's not fun walking into your tent at like midnight and using your light to figure out if there are any bugs that have invaded the tent and crawled into your sleeping bag. Always fun. So far we've focused a lot about being comfortable, you know, being safe, having a good night's rest, being dry and warm. But what do we actually need to do to stay alive? Like eat, drink, have access to like medicine if needed. So let's go over a couple of those bits that are really important. Usually the average person has about 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch and dinner. Now at campsites, at LARP events, you will typically find there are vendors there, both in character and out of character, where you can access food either for real money or for in-game currency. So making sure you understand what food's going to be there, especially if you have dietary requirements or preferences, really does help to plan out your weekend and your experience, making sure you have access to food at all times. Failing that, please do pack your own food, whether that in meals, whether that's snacks. Always have something on hand just in case there is a problem trying to get food, whether you're feeling a little bit run down, you just need a little pick-me-up. Then make sure you bring things like I don't know, little bags of crisps, little breakfast bars, things you can slip into bags easily so you have access to them on hand, and then maybe bring a couple of bits to leave in the tent just so you have access to it in case the walk from where your tent is to the main food area for the event is very far away and you need to eat something now. Just having it in the tent is very, very helpful. Portable cups! Ah yes, drinking vessels, haha. Now, specifically because I do fantasy, I have in-character drinking vessels with me at all times, so I can quickly just walk up to water taps or give my cup to various in-game bars and cafes, so I can have a chai latte. I can also just have a Pepsi Max, but you wouldn't think that because they're in very lovely vessels. Having them on hand is really helpful, not only for you. I attach this to my belt to make sure I have access to it at all times, making sure you're hydrated. Really big factor. Whether it is cold or hot, please stay hydrated because the chances are you are on your feet or you are up and about the entire day for long periods of time. You're talking to people. I don't think, if you've never been to LARP before, people don't realise how much energy it takes to just stay in character. It's not just socialising, which already takes a lot of energy, socialising for 12 hours for the entire weekend every single day, but then pretending to be a character, trying to think of your character, trying to ad-lib. Man, you're knackered by the end of it. So make sure you've got access to water when possible. I have these in my tent, so I can also share these with people just in case anybody comes to our tent and needs water or a drink, then I have this on hand very quickly. That being said, I'd also maybe recommend if you have anything on to share in your tent, in your space, maybe just bring a little bottle of washing up liquid so you can just quickly clean things, keep it nice and hygienic. Similarly, cutlery and bowls. I don't personally have in-character cutlery and bowls. I will either use the out-of-character section where they have like recyclable knives and forks and boxes, but I know it's quite popular, especially if you are planning to cook and provide food for yourself or the people that you're with, then having, you know, wooden bowls and utensils, or if it's not medieval, something more modern, having them to hand is very helpful, especially if you're wanting to serve things in character. We've spoken about cups, but one extra thing about being hydrated is I always bring an empty water bottle with me to camp, and then I fill it up. The moment I set up camp on the Thursday usually, I will fill like a 1 litre plastic bottle from home, fill it with water, just so we've got water in the tent. It saves you from needing to get up and make a journey to the nearest watering tap, or try and find somewhere to have a drink. It's always there in your tent, so you have access to fresh water whenever you need to. A medicine bag, not essential. Well, I mean, depending if you have medication that you need to take, very essential. But I would recommend thinking about taking a little medicine bag with you, or at least one person in your group having a communal medicine bag, just to have things like painkillers, plasters, blister patches. I usually take hay fever tablets as well. I also usually take like a small pack of those Lemsip tablets, just in case anybody falls ill. Then you have some options to make sure that you can help yourself. You don't have to walk all the way to a first aider or see if anybody else has anything. You always have something in your tent ready to go just in case. And obviously, if you're taking medication, please bring your medication and have it to hand and make sure it's accessible whenever you need it. Sun cream. I don't care what season it is, bring sun cream. I have burnt my shoulders in April. I have burnt my shoulders in June, July, and September. In fact, last year, I burnt my shoulders in July, and the suntan didn't fully go away for my strapless wedding dress in October. Luckily, it had faded enough by then, but there was part of me that was like, oh, we're cutting it real close here, guys. Sun cream is a must-have, especially if you're going to be outside for most of the day. Even if you're in cover, please make sure you're applying and reapplying sun cream throughout the day, especially on exposed areas of skin such as your face, shoulders, arms, and the tops of your feet if you're going sort of barefoot or wearing sandals, which I have seen. There are people who do it, you know, no shame. No shame. It's, I mean, skin's waterproof, you know? Light sources. Make sure you have access to a light source. Now, I have 2 of these in-character lanterns. Thank you, Pepper. I usually pin one to my belt when it hits sundown, so I go back to my tent and make sure I have it on me. I also keep one in the tent as well to make sure that there is a light source in the tent for myself or anyone else who needs to go in and they can actually see what they're doing when it's past sundown. I will say though, if you are in a pinch, it is absolutely okay to use your phone as a torch. Plenty of people have accidentally found themselves without their lanterns, without their light sources, and it's pitch black. So what do? Please use your phone. Do not worry whether it's in character or not. Your safety is paramount. See where you are going, okay? Don't go falling into any ditches. The bag. I recommend that you should have at least one bag, pouch, something to carry your essential items on you at all times, whether that is your medication, whether that is your phone, whether that is a light source. Have a bag on you so you can carry these things with you. Otherwise, what you don't want to be finding yourself in is, I need this thing now, and I'm in the middle of something, and it's all the way over in my tent, and now I have to go walk all the way back to this one location to find my things, to then walk all the way back to the other location, and then continue what I was doing. Please look at getting yourself a little bag just to house all of your important little bits. Whew, right, we have covered a lot of ground. And there are a couple of little extras that I would personally recommend just to make your experience more enjoyable. Let's start with a notebook. There's a lot of information that goes into conversations you have with characters, events that happen across the weekend. You will not remember them all. Well, some of you might. I never remember 20% of them. I need a little notebook and a pencil. So if you are like me and there is a chance that you are going to forget some name of a character or location or the name of an artifact or some sort of weird thing that you've never heard of before and a time and place where it needs to happen, bring a notepad. Just bring a notepad, jot it down, then you've got it with you. Speaking of time and location, consider having a timepiece on you. So whether that is, like me, a little pocket watch, or whether that's something more modern, having access to the time is a massive help because the time goes so quickly at LARP events, and there are often things happening at certain points in the day, and you'll kick yourself if you miss it. So just invest in a little something that you can keep the time on. Even if you have a watch that is underneath your costume just so you can quickly peek, that is better than, say, taking out your phone to look at the time, and we're meant to be in like medieval England at the moment. It kind of breaks immersion. So if you can, try and find something that fits the theming of the event you're in. If not, try and have something that you can subtly look at without, you know, drawing too much attention. Power banks. Get yourself at least one big juicy power bank to make sure that you are charged over the weekend, whether that is your phone, whether that is you have electric hand warmers. Power banks are very, very handy. I don't use my phone throughout the weekend. I make a point of not using my phone because it's a nice break from using my phone, but I still want to make sure I have contact with like my husband and my family and anything else just in case I need to message anybody. Then I have my phone on charge at all times, and also any extra bits of equipment or electronics that we need for across the weekend. So definitely bring at least one power bank, if not for you. It's always handy to just have, just in case somebody else needs it, and they're very affordable nowadays, so yeah, just go pick one up. And I know we've mentioned the bag, but if I can make one other suggestion, it is having a couple of other smaller containers for things, whether that is a pouch for your in-game currency, whether that is another little pouch for all of the, like, if you're like me and you have magic crystals, then you can separate them so you're not just rooting around in your bag freely looking in between like metal coins, plastic pieces of random things, a paper slip that says you're cursed, and all the rest of it. Having them organised really does help, especially if you're in a pinch and you're kind of getting involved in things. Being able to go, that's my coin bag, get that out, get the coins, go, saves you from just going like, right, we're in the middle of roleplay and now I spend the next 5 minutes combing through my bag. Unless that's part of your character, of course, then by all means, but it's definitely something to consider, making life a little easier. If you have made it to the end of this video, congratulations, you get an invisible gold star for having to put up with me for so long. Some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that is a lot of stuff. And you know what? You don't need all of it. Maybe even most of it. Just make sure you're bringing what you need specifically. And if there's anything in here that I've mentioned that you haven't thought of, have a little think about it. It might not be useful to you, or it might make a really big difference to being comfortable across your LARPing weekend. But if I can give you 2 final pieces of advice, it is this. Have fun and be safe. Doesn't matter what kind of LARPing experience you go to, these are the 2 things that come before anything else. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're not having fun, do something about it, because the whole weekend is for you to have fun. So make sure you're facilitating that by taking breaks to go drink water, investing in a better sleeping bag, going to sit down for a little bit because your feet are tired and maybe you did bring the wrong shoes this weekend, but you know what? That's okay, because there's always next time. And the second thing, being safe, comes above everything else. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to use your phone, where you need to get out of your kit and into normal everyday clothes, do not force yourself into situations that make you unsafe or very, very uncomfortable. It's much better for you to break rules to be safe and comfortable than force yourself into situations where you might be falling over in the dark because you're not using the camera on your phone, or telling people out of character, I'm so sorry, I need to leave, I need to go lie down for a second, or I am burning, I need to go reapply sun cream. These are things that everybody should be very, very friendly about, and if they're not, then stuff them, leave them to it. It wasn't fun with them anyway. Your health and safety are paramount and should come before anything else, and that should facilitate in your fun. So if you're ever in a situation where you're thinking to yourself, I want to stay and do this thing, but I need to go take my medication, I need to go do this, that and the other, I can't see, my feet are bleeding, leave it. Excuse yourself, because there are loads of other opportunities across the weekend and many more LARP events where you will have fun. Don't hurt yourself for the sake of being in character or trying not to miss a storyline. It will be fine. People will accommodate. Blimey. I mean, that was a fairly long one to film. I don't know how long the whole video will be in total, but I don't think it will actually be as long as some of my other videos. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I'm trying to be more productive here on the old YouTube. You can also find all of my social medias linked below, and if you want to check out any of my other videos, then feel free to have a look at my channel. I don't know what video I'm going to be doing next. It may be an Empire related video, because E1 of Empire 2026 is happening this month at the end of April. We have a brand new shiny campsite to explore, so maybe that's a really good time to do something a little bit onboardy. Welcome back to Empire 2.0. I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys want? That being said, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I shall speak to you next time. Bye!